Hello and welcome to another edition of Bond. Today Bond is in Sheraton Hotel, Ikeja, and we are having a seminar. This is an unusual kind of recording for us on Bond because today we're bringing in guests who can talk to us and we can talk back at. Bond today is looking at the 21st century man and woman and their needs in marriages. And then we're also talking about issues that bother on why marriages fail, which is the main focus of Bond the next 3 weeks. You might be seeing me like this in the same dress, in the same clothes for the next 3 minutes. Yes, 3 weeks is a seminar and we had a blast and I think you should be part of it. Let's go on a short break and when we come back, I will tell you more about it and I will introduce our guests to you. We had lots and lots of people in the house and things that you will learn from. So stay with us.
Let's hold on. Okay, it's going to be going up. To our dream, alright? That's the song.
Anybody can get it.
Let me get it guy now.
One more.
To a dream, I see hope in your eyes. Speak to me, I'll never leave. Is this it? Only believe. Hold on to a dream. I see hope in your eyes. Speak to me, I'll never leave. Be still, only believe. Don't let go, there's a chance to be strong. We can be strong. Don't let go, we can be all we want. We can be as one.
Welcome back. The program is still Bond and my name is Maimuna. Today we brought you Dr. Boyo on the program. We brought in a group of people who can talk about marriages as well. So that it doesn't look like I am an expert in marriage. I'm also learning every day. We're talking to people. I'm learning to make my marriage better. Sometimes when you do marriage counseling and you talk about marriage, you begin to think that you're an expert in that area. In life, every field of life, you walk through it. You learn to be better at every point in time. So if you say you're an expert, it then means you do not have anything to learn anymore. But in marriage, every day, you keep learning because the marriage evolves. The people in the marriage evolve. So every day I'm learning. And we brought for you today Dr. Boyo. He talked about how internet affects the modern day marriages. Not just internet. He said internet can work for you depending on how you use it. He also talked about you visiting certain sites on the internet, which becomes a problem. What sites are you visiting? What do you preoccupy your mind with? And what are you feeding your soul? Sometimes when you indulge in all these pornographic sites, it takes you away from your family. Listen to Dr. Boyo. He's been married for over 30 years. He's done marriage counseling for as long as I have lived. So please, listen to him. Ladies and gentlemen, today we say no protocols, no restriction. Dr. Boyo, thank you.
I like that. Thank you very much. I've been asked to share on the topic why marriages fail. And I don't know what qualifies me to share with this because, I mean, anybody's marriage can fail. You know, and it's an obvious fact that It's only the Pope whose marriage has not failed now. And we know the Pope's marriage will not fail by God's grace. You know, so it's the grace of God that keeps marriages going. And can we just say a word of prayer? Father, we ask, oh God, that you give us the grace to look at this topic dispassionately and be able to help somebody. So at the end of the day, everybody here will have healings in their homes, not because we are better than any other person, but just because of your grace. It's not by might, it's not by power, but by your spirit. Prevail. Prevail today, Lord, in Jesus' name. One of the things I want to place as a background check is that most marriages that fail, from our own experience, I've been married for 30 years now, and my first son is 29, and I'm a senior pastor of a church, chapel of his president at Abaji Estate in Lagos, and I'm a medical director of a hospital. And then I run a radio program on Radio Continental every Friday from 12 midnight to 4 a.m. on holy hours. Where people with problems call. We have people from 45 countries using their apps to call. And it's an anonymous program, so my name is not on the program. I'm just called Dr. B. And if you listen to the program, I'm the one that run the program. It's called Whispers of the Early Morning. We do that every Friday from 12 midnight to 4 a.m. And each time you run programs like that, you begin to find out that people just want you to say the obvious. People already know what problems exist. Most times when marriages collapse, we have found out that 60 to 75% of the problems that lead to marriages failing were there even before the marriage. You know, and because of the spirit of denial, which can be mistaken to be faith, you know, we tend to call denial faith in Africa because we God all things are possible, and we try to think that some things will just vanish away. At times we sweep them under the carpet. Sometimes we go for deliverance, and the people that go for deliverance are not the ones that need the deliverance. It's the person that is standing in the gap for somebody else, and so it doesn't really work because the person they are praying for deliverance for doesn't even believe he has any problem. So it's just like a man coming out to, whenever there's a problem and they say, oh, if you have a problem with infertility, come out, it's a woman that normally comes out. Meanwhile, the problem will be with the man. Say, go out now, go out, you never get better, go out. You know? I don't know how it works when a man comes out for prayer for a man that has no semen and has 0, 0, 0, 0. You know? Who should come out? Is it the man won't come out. Even if he comes and says, I'm standing out on behalf of my wife. Meanwhile, we all know that infertility is 30% the woman, 30% the man, and 30% unknown factors. I want to start with a preview and looking at the fact that the issues that have been identified that predate marriage failures are just quick 10 issues I want to point out very quickly. During the course of courtship, you define what's going to happen in your marriage. Now, if you don't identify these issues and deal with them, you're only preparing a groundswell for challenge. One of the differences in worldview and spirituality. When you marry somebody who has a completely different idea, a completely different worldview and spirituality, you are bound to have conflicts in the future. Now, there's nothing wrong in having different worldviews, but the problem is coming to terms with the fact that this person has a different worldview, and I can cope with it. You don't go into marriage with the intention of leave them, when we get there, we change them, you know? And that's always the biggest problem with us. We don't come to terms with situations. We always, and let me tell you, it's very difficult to change people. In fact, when people come for counseling, I tell them, change yourself. Stop trying to change somebody else. Just, if you marry a thief, then just keep your money in the office or in the bank. There's no point coming home and praying that your husband will not steal your money. If you marry a liar, learn to accommodate lies and pray that God will give you grace. After all, the tongue is in the mouth, surrounded by 32 hostile neighbors, and the tongue is able to survive. Is that not so? So it's God that gave the tongue grace, you know, that survive. You know, where sin abounds, grace much more abounds. So if God gave you a liar, God will also give you protective device and several apps you can download. So as the man is telling lies, you are enjoying the lying spirit. You know? So instead of praying for the liar to be delivered, pray for yourself that God will give you the grace to enjoy the lives and cope with it, because people can't change easily. People can't change. And I always warn people, if you want to go in with protective equipment. There's no point going to Borno State and pray that they don't attack you. Go with policemen, go with soldiers, go with, bodyguards, go with bulletproof vests. So they shoot you, disappear, and appear somewhere else. So going to Borno State and say, my grace, I won't see Boko Haram, we already know is their territory. It means you are looking for trouble. So in like manner, I'm not saying prayer doesn't work. Prayer works more for the person praying. It's very difficult to intercede for somebody else. When you are praying for somebody else, it's called intercession. Intercession is different from faith. In faith, you can just say, I receive it. But when you are praying for somebody else, it's tough. It's tough. So, one is differences in worldview. Come to terms with the fact that your husband, just this is how he thinks. You're going to marry, this is how he thinks. And now prepare yourself to face it. 2, personality challenges and obvious incompatible temperaments. You marry somebody who has very definite personality issues. Especially people that grew up in dysfunctional families. A dysfunctional home is a home where misbehavior, abuse, complacency, and all kinds of things are not only tolerated, even celebrated. In most homes, there's no home without some level of misbehavior and misconduct. It happens everywhere. But in dysfunctional homes, it is a way of life. If we don't fight, we will not sleep tonight. Children fight among themselves, husband and wife. If people spar up for fun, when you're coming there, those homes where an argument starts and somebody just says, I'm not going to argue, we're going to just fight. We're going to just fight. Remember those days in school, somebody just gather sand in his hand and say, just fight, just fight. At times they will push 2 of you together and they will start laughing and 2 of you start fighting and say, beat him. That's Fuji House. Some people are from there, Their surnames are not Fuji. They could change it to Jifu or anything, but we know where they are coming from. If you have lived in that kind of environment before, and you go and marry somebody who has lived in a very well organized home, where the pin drops silence, nobody abuses anybody, you will find out that it's like hell. I give an example of myself. I grew up in a home where everything just works. You don't go out. You stay indoors. During the long vacation, we didn't even know the names of our neighbors. We look through windows to look at them. All we just heard, read your books, read your books. Heights attained by great men were not by sudden flights while their neighbors slept, they toiled into the night. You think you can become a doctor like that? Carry your book. Even when you are feeling asleep, you just carry book and be sleeping on top of the book. And so some words you never heard before, like sure, all those things, I'm sure somebody tells me, I may not sleep that night. But there's someone who tell me, you say, you pass me, Joe. If I then you that kind of thing, So if you can spar, fight, when you can't do that, you just be in the cold, So there are people that, people don't look at all these things before they marry, because there are people that, if they don't fight, they cannot be happy. Fighting, they are Christians, so I'm not talking about unbelievers, they are born-again Christians, but they must fight. The way they express their joy, their spare time, and everything is turn everything to fight. Food, to eat in their house, they fight. When they want to eat, food is just kept there. 6 of them, 4 pieces of meat. And even you don't close your eyes to pray in that kind of situation. Everybody's eyes, you don't open your eye like this and you hold the plate. You don't hold the meat, you hold the plate. And you start eating. If you are slow, it's your business. The food just go. I don't know. They don't swallow. It's like IV drip. The food just go. If you are slow, that is why you not give a child the food and he says, I want to take Indomie. I don't like chicken. I want turkey. I don't want turkey. Those ones, everything goes. The only thing you see after the food is made in China. And then you notice. Different socioeconomic background, people say it doesn't matter. It matters a lot. You have to learn how to live with people from a different class. I remember telling somebody, I had a guest in my house and I said that I don't share my towel with my wife. I said, God forbid. I said, I don't share my towel. My children don't share towels. We don't share towel. We don't share cup. Everybody has no cup. It's not because there's somebody with TB. It's just because I can't imagine sharing towel with somebody, because if towel is used and is wet, I won't touch it. I won't touch it. Towel is not so expensive. Matter of fact, I use face towel and clean myself. I say, because you love me, I want me to use your towel. I will stay in the bathroom thinking of how God will arise and his enemies. So, and it's not because I'm from a very high, I don't come from a middle class family, your father civil servant, mother civil servant, you know, but it's just some simple things. So your current background doesn't come with money. You know, a child whose father is a teacher, mother is a teacher, they have a different level of a child whose parents are traders. It's not money, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about the way you were brought up. I'm not saying you can't marry someone from another class. I'm simply saying you have to come to terms with the fact that there's going to be some adjustments to do. So if you can't adjust, you will just spend your whole life enduring rather than enjoying. So what do you mean by saying that that you have different socioeconomic backgrounds? The way people spend money, the way people keep money, the way people share food, the way people eat. I had a family, their children visited my children, and after about 2 hours, they just went to the fridge. They wanted to eat. So my children ran after them and said, what do you want to eat? They said, we're hungry, we're hungry. My children said, it's not yet lunch. They were taking breakfast at the house. Look at the time. We don't eat before 2 o'clock. Ah! They started shouting. And they said, lunch is between 1 and 2. You can drink water. They said, no, we must eat. So we came downstairs and gave them food. Then around, that was around 10, around 12, we're hungry, you know. Then when their parents came, their parents said, we're not at Asemota. Anytime my children are hungry, they just eat. I said, no, we don't do like this. After breakfast, we wait till lunch. After lunch, you wait till dinner. And you don't take your food to your bedroom, you eat on the dining room, on the dining table. After eating, carry your food to the sink. No house girl washes your plate, you wash your plate by yourself. I said, no, we don't do like that here. Now you see, I'm not saying we are perfect. There's no bad culture. There are only different types of culture. And we're not saying one person is better than the other person. We are simply saying you need to understand where the person is coming from. Likewise, you have people, that's number 3. Number 4, unrealistic dreams and expectations. When you want to marry somebody whose whole life is about relocating to the US, better leave him alone. If you don't want to go, better go and marry somebody. If you know you want to go to the US, 2 of you can begin to dream dreams and things like that and see visions. But if you know you don't want to go to the US, from the outset, bind that spirit. Because eventually you marry a man who lives in Nigeria but is in the US in the spirit. And every day you just say, oh, that's Obama, that's my president. You know, we're doing elections very soon. Hillary Clinton is coming for us. You know, they've never been there before. But they just begin to talk like that. Especially the friends from Sapele, Warri, that kind of area. My people like talking about going abroad. Everybody wants to go abroad. Even primary 6, he sees himself as he has gone abroad several times in his dream. You know, and you marry him, all your life you'll be here now going abroad. He will never go. He's going to die here. But he will keep on talking about this thing. Your ears will be full. Pictures of his brothers and brother, they're going to invite him very soon. You almost think he's going to go. But we know them. They don't go, they only talk about it. But if you are not careful, unrealistic dreams. Tell you that I can't stay in Ami. I can't live in Ikeja, Banana Island. Within 3 years of our marriage, I'm moving to Banana Island. In Jesus' name, amen. Banana Island, the plot is 250 million. He has not even got a flat in Okpebi. He's talking about Banana Island. And he talks about it in a way that is totally involving. I'm not talking about occasional daydreaming, you know. He talks about it that you are going to live in Banana. If you are not careful, you will believe him. It's not faith he's doing it. This is daydreaming, hallucination, delusion, and all kinds of things like that. You know, you will just follow him, and both of you will likely end up somewhere between Alagbado and Songwater. We do apologies to them. Or even may end up at Idiroko, much later. Unresolved pain from childhood. You want to marry somebody unresolved pain from childhood, somebody who has been abused, incest, rape and everything, it needs to be resolved. You know? Conflicting cultural values and norms. I mean, you are Yoruba, you want to marry an Igbo man, you need to you need to do surgery. You need to do some surgical procedures so your marriage can work. Because you are coming from two different planets, Jupiter and Mars. And my brother married an Igbo woman, and my culture is virtually like Yoruba culture, you know. And he almost died. Because in my place, if you greet somebody, you must kneel down. If it's your elder. And unlike other cultures, you remain on your knees until the person tells you to stand up. So if my younger brothers were coming to greet me, she will just greet me and remain there. And I'll be talking to her on her knees until I say, stand up. You don't stand up. I say, so how are you? How are the children? All these days, you're just visiting me now. So how did you come? You don't say stand up. It's part of knowing the level of respect. Now, she may think she's having punishment. That's a normal thing, and we enjoy it. So just say, so when it's your turn, you do it to somebody, Abi. Then extreme manipulative tendencies. You marry somebody that is extremely manipulative and can use tears to get you to do anything. All he or she does is to collect your switches and can switch you on and off anytime. Just since you are too happy, they'll put you off. You start crying. You won't know how. Just feels he wants you to dance. He knows what to press. You start dancing. They just collect your remote and be using your remote to move you up and down. Are you getting me? Like a puppet. And there's people like that. It's a gift. One of the gifts. Not of the Holy Spirit, it's a gift. When they press it, you will know. If you know you can't stand it, better run. Because the first thing they do is to monitor you and control your life. Then abuse. If you see abuse before you marry, there's no way of getting married. Except you know that you have thick skin to tolerate. As I said, these things are not impossible. You can do it. If God gives you someone that is abusive, God will give you the grace to stand abuse, to stay there. They say, I want to divorce, I want to divorce. Okay. Abuse is a good reason for divorce. But some people, even as a doctor, I've seen people that enjoy being beaten by their husband. In fact, they wait for the husband to beat them. You know? If I want to hear the story in the clinic, she's laughing. He used to beat me. He used to beat me. He beats me every day. I said, you're laughing. What can I do? And it's people that are frequently beaten by their husbands that have many children. Yeah. Yes, they always have many children. Anybody says, my husband beat me regularly, you see 6 children behind them. In most cases, they settle the fight in a very, very spiritual way. Abuse is a good reason for divorce. But some people, even as a doctor, I've seen people that enjoy being beaten by their husband. In fact, they wait for the husband to beat them. You know? If I want to hear the story in the clinic, she's laughing. He used to beat me. He used to beat me. He beats me every day. I said, you're laughing. What can I do? And it's people that are frequently beaten by their husbands that have many children. Yes, they always have many children. Anybody says, my husband beat me regularly, you see 6 children behind them. In most cases, they settle the fight in a very, very spiritual way. So verbal abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, neglect, and even insensitivity. You know, we have people that practice, you know, very horrible things now, the dominant and everything that you've seen in all these kind of films. They marry you and they tell you straight away, I don't just have ordinary sex. I punish you. And they tie your hands, tie your legs, and they first give you 6 strokes of the cane. And as you're enjoying it, it gives them sexual satisfaction. Are you getting me? And very soon you will start enjoying it yourself. It's a spirit. You know? When they cast the spirit upon you, both of you will have the same spirit. And they don't have anything. But I'm telling you about things that happen, and nobody complains. You even beg you, when are we going to do that thing again? You know, and it does it for you. Unbearable intellectual gulf. The intellectual gulfs exist everywhere between husband and wife. But there are some that you know yourself that you cannot bear. Why did you get married? If you know that in golf, G-U-L-F, intellectual gulf, there are differences in educational backgrounds, but this can be tolerated by most people. But there are some people that are very, very sensitive. They can't stand certain things. And they tell you, when we marry, I will educate my husband. I will make him, I will change him. It can't work. Either accept, if you know you are very, very sensitive to, you know that you have allergy, allergy to mumu, and allergy to ignoramus, allergy to people that are not educated. Whenever you meet them, you used to like have coma or something like that. Better don't go into it until they cure you of the allergy before you go into it. Finally, number 10, if you before you marry, you notice that your spouse or your future partner is poor in self-management. What does self-management mean? Taking care of his looks, taking care of his cleanliness, his personal resource control, self-esteem, interpersonal issue with others, dispute resolution. Every small thing, he just withdraws to his shell. Maybe he has a bipolar personality, extreme mood swings. You have to ask yourself, is this what I'm going to take care of all my life? If you know you can't do it, that's why when you come for marriage, they ask you 3 questions. They ask you, look at his face very well. Is this a man? Will you take this man? The pastor doesn't say he knows. Will you take this man to be your lawful wedding? To live together under God's will in sickness and in health? And as long as you both shall live, keep holding on to her. Yes, I will. So help me, pastor. No, so help me, God. Because they know that there's something behind each of these people standing here. Are you getting me? Not all that glitters is gold. So when we come to it, therefore, what is the biggest problem in marriage? The biggest problem in marriage in Nigeria is over spirituality. Especially among Christians. Are you getting me? We don't want to face the reality. And I put it under the phrase denial. Denial in ordinary English is asserting that a statement or allegation is not true. But in psychology, denial is rationalization. It's a defense mechanism in which a controversial behavior or feeling is justified and explained in a seemingly rational or logical manner to avoid the pain that comes from it. You know, so in denial, you will see something that is obviously wrong. Because you don't want to face the reality of the pain that comes from it, you just say, well, that's what my husband did too. That's what my husband did. You know, my husband, you don't know him. And so what has happened? Instead of facing the problem, you have accepted it. Many marriages are in the brink of disaster. But we are very good in patching up things, sweeping things under the carpet, because pastor says God hates divorce. Because God hates divorce, we're just going to manage there until one of us goes to die. Then we now say, may our soul rest in peace. You know, oh, transition to glory. You know, our beloved husband, father, uncle, and this, who went to be with the Lord. He didn't go to be, you sent him to be with the Lord. In the early hours of 15th of October, this. May his wonderful soul rest in peace. The wicked have done their worst. Who is the wicked? Yeah, I know God hates divorce. And I don't sell divorce. I don't market it. But divorce is not the only thing God hates, for goodness sake. God hates lying. God hates stealing. God hates fornication. God hates cheating. God hates sickness. Abi, not be so. Why is only divorce God hates? Yeah. God loves murder. God doesn't only hate divorce. God hates everything bad. So if somebody, in fact, God prefers divorce to suicide. So I killed myself because God hates divorce. And you now stay there and they killed you. You say you are now a suicide bomber. You know? People should not use spiritual jingo to destroy our lives. And that's why people continue to do all this nonsense in marriages. Because my wife cannot go, God hates divorce. Are you God yourself? You now manipulate the person and kill the person because God hates divorce. Look at that role. How he gave his wife 78 stabs. The day he stabbed his wife, you know, I live around the Ajoy Estate axis. He ran away with the wife's car and hit a member of my church and jumped on Okada and ran away. Killed his wife and was bold enough to come back in the evening to that same house. See, mumu. If you're watching crime and investigations, you know you should run away to another country. You don't need to watch all those things. He came back in the evening. To do what? My God, catch him. After giving some 9 strokes, on the day of judgment, he was crying with the Bible, speaking in tongues, and saying that, he loves his wife, he loves his wife, he loves his wife, And his parents were saying that he's a good man, he wouldn't have done that. They should ask the woman. I said the woman is alive. What the woman did? How can somebody annoy you to the point of giving the person 78 stab wounds? And the woman was the one providing the food in the house. Arolo wasn't working. The wife was a banker. The wife owned the car. The wife was feeding him, biting the fingers that fed you. And all this in the name of God hates divorce. So God prefers you to kill than divorce. So, having settled that, how is denial a major issue? A major issue in the sense that, unlike in other climes, where people come out straight and say, I have a problem in my marriage. In Nigeria, we will continue to manage it until one of us dies. Then we'll go and marry another wife. And some people shouldn't marry. Some people were not born to marry. After Jesus Christ spoke to the disciples in Matthew, Peter said, if it is so, it's not good to marry. Jesus Christ said, you are right. He said, some cannot marry because human beings made them like that. He said, some cannot marry also because of the work of the kingdom of God. Some people cannot marry because that's how they were born. That's what Jesus Christ said. Some people were just pushed to marry because they want children. You can get children without marriage. Go to motherless babies home and adopt. Some of them don't want to marry because they want to avoid, they want to have sexual satisfaction. Who wants to give you that when you don't want to marry? Without responsibility, you want to just have, what do you want in life? Some people were brought up by their parents in a way that they cannot even marry. They've been so spoiled and so badly tuned. It's like buying a car that has no engine. And the person there just managed to push the car to your house and you paid for it. Only to find out there's no engine. He says it's okay. Say there's no engine in this car. Say, you buy now and put. What is it? Or buying a car without battery. You are starting. The car won't even keep. No battery. Some people, especially men, women, there are many women like that, but it's more amongst men that they are not positioned to marry. They are just trying their luck. Maybe they use you as a laboratory. I want to see whether I feel married. They're not telling. They tell their father, Mommy, leave me alone. Mother said, you're not 34. Go and marry. Tunde, marry. When Tunde refused, they went to look for you. Packaged you. And told Tunde, you must marry. You must give me a child. The parents are not looking for wife. They're looking for child. Give me a grandchild. Give me a grandchild today. I'm not 75. Give me a grandchild. I gave my father a grandchild. You must give me. And they package you. Calling Ikeja plantain chips doesn't make it better. Ikeja is Ikeja. Are you getting it? What you are seeing today is packaging. Are you getting it? They don't package the man just looks nice for that period of courtship. Just looks nice. Hello, honey, how are you? Tell him what they don't call your wife. On now, they call him. After the marriage, can you? He said, look, I don't know what we are into. You don't know me yet. You just started. I bad. Mental. Psychiatric cases. I get psychotics. Psychotics. Marry him. So after dealing with denial, so if the person you want to marry is really mentally ill, the father will not tell you. How can the father tell you, please marry my son who is mentally ill, we are looking for a wife for him, maybe you're marrying him, we take care of his mental illness. No. Go to Arrow. No, there are people who are packaged, they know their son is sick. They just package him for you. Are you getting me? That's why I say Ikeja and plantain chips. Still the same thing. They just package him for you, turn into plantain chips. When you see him, you just like him. Banker, everything. Who don't want to marry banker? Meanwhile, history of psychotic behavior is only normal when the moon is full. And they make sure they bring him before that period. Are you getting me? And when he's getting mad, he will go home to his mother's house. You don't know what you are carrying yet. You know? So when we know all these things in courtship, we just have to unravel the mystery. Don't marry anybody you have not unraveled. You marry them, give him headache. Let's see what he will do when he's angry. Someone whenever they're angry, first they carry his pistol or mortar. Someone whenever they're angry, they just carry knife. They will dagger you. You know? A woman, I got 3 a.m. I was called to the clinic. What happened? Her husband came to the hospital crying and holding his mouth. What happened? What happened? What happened? He was pointing to the wife. They were saying, I didn't do anything, I didn't do anything, I didn't. The wife too could not talk, rather. But like, I didn't know the wife beat his lip and kept the lip in her mouth. And the man was pointing to the lip in the wife's mouth. I want to beg you. What is it? They just start the lip. We had to start suturing to see how we could save the lip. A woman brought her husband to the hospital. He said it just collapsed. What happened? He said, look at him, he just collapsed. We took him to intensive care, started working on him. Later, we saw he was dead. God, what happened? He said he annoyed her and she took the pistol of mortar and just gave me a knock. Conk, I just conk her for head. With pistol of mortar. So I didn't mean to kill him. I just used pistol of mortar, I just get him conk. Now he don't talk again. One conk person with pistol of mortar. He said it's not possible, it's not possible until they do it to you. Well, I want to look at just 10 quick problems and I will just make them very fast. They're already here and I will keep to time. One and the most important problem why marriage collapses is communication. It stands as the center of everything. Communication. Communication. And the biggest culprit in communication is the men. When men are below the age of 30, they talk a lot and they're very friendly, they're very everything. When men cross 40, they stop talking. Including myself. I get it, they stop talking. The wife just think that he has had a Damascus Road experience. No. They just stop talking, they withdraw to their cocoon, and the wife says, why is my husband not talking again? Most men just keep quiet and become Zachariah after he met Angel Gabriel in the sanctuary. They don't talk again. You know? So it happens often. But ordinarily, do men talk? Yes, they talk with their friends at work, they talk to other men. When men get to the house, they don't talk to their wives as often as their wives expect them to. They will talk in the first 5 years after marriage. As marriages grow, men stop talking to their wives. We think that it's women that hold grudges. Men are very bad in holding grudges. And when they do their own, they can kill you with it. And they will do their own by cold, slowly killing you. You just keep quiet, you just eat and leave the remaining food and say, I'm okay now. And then they just go online, begin to gist and talk with their friends, sleep in the guest room, leave for work, come back the next day, they're protesting. The wife will think they're on retreat. They are protesting. Communication problems. If a couple has communication problems prior to marriage, those problems are likely to get worse after marriage. And the problem you should know is that women after marriage talk more. Men after marriage talk less. And the more problems are in the house, the more men keep quiet. The rent has not been paid. That's when there will be deafening silence in the house. And they will say simple things like, with God, all things are possible. I'm trusting God. No plan for the payment, too. Trusting God. And the only women don't trust men, the faith of men when it comes to financial things. They can trust a man, I pray for the sick, I witness, yes. When it comes to rent, only how are we paying the rent? With God, all things are possible. Say, no. It's next month to just be watching. You know why most men know that men have no plans for the rent? They're just expecting that manna will fall down from heaven. So in most cases, women go out to borrow the money in advance and keep in one secret account because they have seen it several times. The husband will say, with God, all things are possible. And there's no God, there's no possible. Until the landlord will throw their things out. So they say, because of me and my children, they'll just say, oh God, landlord. I know women who have given half of the money rent to the landlord and told the landlord, for you to talk to my husband. When he pays, give him my money back. Give him my money back. Because the man will say, he will look at the man, no plans. They know, no plans. And the man is saying, what is rent? Where I did. I better forget, I'm too much. What is rent? I will pay double, sir. Let them tell you. It's a lie. The woman already knows that. If you don't know, most time your wife has already planned and borrowed money for Christmas because they know you don't release money. If you release, they now return it to where they got it from. At times, they just keep quiet. Instead of coming out straight and tell their wife, "Grand not level. Couple and not get. Can we not get it? And God will help her and drive fly." They will not talk. They don't continue to pose. That's why they will even be talking expensive things. You know, I'm very sure we should be in Dubai next year. The way things are going, we should spend summer in Dubai. I don't even think we should go to Dubai. You know, I just saw the Alps. You know, in Switzerland. I think we should go there for holiday next year. All of us, including the children, and your mother too will come along. Go fly. And women know that we did it last year. We went to Dubai in the dream. The previous year we went to America in the dream. 10 years ago, we were traveling abroad in the dream on Keke Marawa, you know. So it's important that both partners are able to discuss every aspect of the married life openly and on a regular basis. In marriage, a two-way communication will not last long. Let's don't joke with it. In our culture, we don't talk. It's very, very, very rarely the people talk. Husband and wife only discuss very official things. And those things that matter most are never really discussed seriously. You know, I try to discuss everything with my wife. The only thing I told her is that don't wake me up in the night to tell me any problem because I won't talk. I don't like that issue of around 3 o'clock in the morning. You just hear. I know what I hate most. We need to talk. My BP just goes to the roof. Ah! We need to talk. I don't like that statement. We need to talk. What are we talking about? We're talking about money. Say no. We need to talk. We need to talk. We need to say, don't try that here. We need to talk. We need to talk. Ask your husband. Do I say that to you? Do I say that to you? Ask your husband if he sits next to you. Say, do I say that to you? We need to. It's women that do it most. Men will come out and say, come. I don't like that thing. Sit down. Why did you do this? Women will keep quiet on around that time, 1 a.m. We need to talk. After that talk, you will not sleep again till morning. And when I say we need to talk, we now back you and face the wall and start speaking in tongues. You start wondering, what is that we need to talk about? Or what Telemundo? 2, managing financial problems lead to marriage failure. When there's no money, those two extremes cause problems. When there's too much money, there's challenge. How to manage it. When there's no money also, there's challenge. Once a man starts getting blessed at work and the woman is getting blessed at work, the woman starts getting afraid that they will take her husband. It's as if once a man is poor, it's a better thing for the woman. Once your husband starts earning like 6 figures, say 500, Jesus! You know, he has just changed his car, bought the car for you, he starts dressing well, say, I'm in trouble, oh. You know, most women prefer their husband to just be not too poor, so that the man can be humble, you know. Not too poor, so that the man can be humble. Say, my husband should not be too rich, oh. This is Lagos, oh. If God wants to bless her, let him bless me. Then we know how to manage. If this man get money, he will leave me, oh. That's why. But whatever it is, we need to understand how to manage money. Financial problems are also part of the communication debacle. Most men want their wives to always ask for money. And it's a very big problem. You know your wife needs money, and you wait for her to virtually write a letter of application like bank loan with collateral. Are you getting me? I beg to apply to buy food stuff for the food all of us will eat in the house. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. We need to change. If your husband is here, say we need to change. We need to change. We need to change. We need to change. You know? And that's always where the problem comes from. And women too, some women are very poor in financial management. And it starts like this. When they find out their husband has money, that's when they start giving requests. And that's why some men don't say when God has blessed them. Because we just come and just praise God. I just got this 2.5 million. Hey, don't forget it. Don't forget it. 2.5 million. Hey, you are owing me. You know? I've come to accept that I'm permanently owing my wife till I die. So because sometimes I don't wonder where the debt will come from, you know. Went to Canada from New York. As we just went boating, my wife said, you're owing me $800. I said, which $800 again? He said, you won't remember. You remember the 800? I had to start. I didn't bother to think. Because what would you think to now? 800. Sometimes the money of bread I bought in 1985. You know, so I just $800. And immediately I just dropped $400. I said I'll be paying small. There's and you know, and I don't know, women have the way of knowing when you are owing them. They never owe you. They never owe you. And when they owe you, they can never pay. And the common passage is, owe no man, owe no woman. The Bible says, owe no man, nothing. So, women will owe you. And when you ask for, say, it's because that $5 you are talking about, what's the $5? Your mates agree they are with their wife $500. Oh, they are talking to them. But when is their turn? Hey! In Jamaica, Gabriel, and all of them will attend that meeting. You know? And they will tell, even the children will know that is owing mommy. That's why when women buy things for their children, they make it clear to them, it's mommy that bought it for you. And you know how they do, say, oh, look at the shoe I bought for you last year. Johnny, remember this shoe? Honey, that's the shoe I bought when I went to France. Turn around, and look at that shirt. You know, I remember that trip to Hawaii. That's when I bought that shirt. We know. One day my son made me say, Dad, why is that everything in this house is mommy that bought it? I said, anything. I said, it's because any small thing, that thing I bought for you here, that thing I bought for you here. I said, the one I bought at home, I'm always forgetting. I'll start writing them too. So I can start telling you the one I bought for you. I just told him, I said, well, everything plus your mother, I bought all of them. How a couple deals with financial issues can break a marriage. And it starts from, and these days that women are getting jobs more than men. When an economy dies and is depressed, industries die, manufacturing dies, and service industries go up, hotels, and hospitals, and those are the areas where women get jobs. So for the next many years, more women will get jobs than men. And women are now becoming more economically endowed than their husbands. Because of that, even the goat in the compound knows that the food was cooked by the money of the wife. You know how? If goat put head inside the husband, carry it, you know how much I spent to cook that? That's how the goat knows that it was the woman's money they used to cook the food. Say, I don't touch it. Dustbin outside you. You are telling goat to remove hair from dustbin because you use your money. So how do we solve this thing now? We need to know whether the person you are married, getting married to is very stingy, hardworking, and sometimes you may want to propel him to work hard. Sometimes you may have to use your connection as a woman to get your husband jobs. But don't remind him, this is what I'm getting for you now. Don't come and tell me tomorrow you want to marry another woman. You marry another woman, this job will kill you in Jesus' name. You want this job, that will not come down. Because when a woman gets a job for a man, she will tie the thing with one rope. If you marry another woman, this job my uncle is giving you in first bank. The day you will lose the job and you will die. It's done it very well. Number 3, family problems. Family relationships, including how to manage children, parents, in-laws, siblings, stepchildren from other marriages, can break a marriage. The way it is handled can. Why do marriages fail is what we are talking about. Managing family issues can break a marriage. And that's why my own suggestion about that is that most men should allow their wives take care of this issue very well. You see, if your wife tells you that there's a particular person she doesn't like, just leave the person alone. You won't lose anything. Actually, you see, women have a way of looking at people and seeing demons every time and seeing spirits, that they say you don't see, now we they see, now we they see, now we they see. Yes, So if your wife just sees you, maybe you have a brother, and your wife tells you that this your brother, I don't want him in this house. Manage it wisely. Best thing to do is tell them, okay, I was what I can. By the way, why don't you want him? My spirit doesn't agree with him. I've had several dreams. And I'm beginning to think that, the enemy is bringing a problem into this family. How do you handle that? First thing, just tell your brother, don't come again. Just stay off for some time. Because if you don't stop your brother from coming to the house, it will become an issue. And your wife will continue to talk about it. If the curtain falls down, it's your brother. If your car has flat tire, it's your brother. If your car doesn't start in the morning, I told you, that dream I dreamed, look at it, it's already working. Just tell him to stay away for some time. After that, you're not going to meet her. Can we pray about this, my brother's case? Just stop. My own principle in preventing challenges in my home is I love peace. I can use my money to buy peace. Whatever it will take to get peace sometimes, I do it. If it do not kill me. Understand? And the best way to deal with matters is if your wife says, this person, I don't like the person, make her to know. Even if you are going to allow the person to come to the house, what women want to hear is that I won't die because of this person. You don't like this person, it's okay. Even if you are going to allow the person, but just start off like that. I hope the women are not hearing me because they say you want to use that Dr. Boyo system on me. And I think I wasn't that missing that day, all right? But we make them not to hear us, not to hear it very well. In Jesus' name, amen. So if your wife is trying to bring somebody to the house, just allow it. Just say yes first and say, let's think about it. The moment you say, he's going to come, do your worst, she will get ready for a battle. Just say, prophet. I know you have seen some things again. Say, yes, the Lord spoke to me. I say, please tell God to tell us about how to get this our rent now. This God they talk about my brother only. May God tell you how we will get this rent. And in fact, the issue of that rent, I'm coming into your hands in Jesus' name. The God that began the good work in you will finish it. You go and make God about this our rent. Then she'll calm down. It can't be God. No. Give her tasks. Since she's not a prophet, give her tasks. Send prayer requests for her. Maybe she wants to pray. Say God spoke to her. Say, hey, who will win election? I want you to tell me whether it's Boyo or good luck. That's another prayer request too. And I'm going out tomorrow to work. I'm going to see the MD of Unilever. Before you wake up tomorrow morning, tell me what you will say. Since you are the one God is using in this house now. When she tells you, come back, say, people say that's not correct. And so you go say, my brother, I believe your prophecy is very true. Because once she finds out that you are respecting her prophecies, she will start keeping quiet too. And she begins to find out that they are loopholes. That's how the other day you said that good luck will win, didn't win. Shall you see now? It's that same prophecy you want to talk about my brother. Bible says, judge all prophecies and judge your own. So if a woman is insisting, you say, I've heard you. It's okay. Johnny, you can go away. I'll see you tomorrow. Let's go. Then ask her that, let's pray about this thing and find out the will of God about it. When she finds out that you're going spiritual, she will calm down. If you're just going to insist, you will not sleep, she will not sleep. At the end of the day, both of you will just develop sickness. So what do we do therefore? My own way of doing it is that I allow my wife to decide about those little things. It's my wife's parents and family members that come to my house more often. But I find out that it gives me more peace. When my brother comes to sleep in there, that's when they say he broke plate, he broke tumbler. When their people come, I don't even know what they broke. Everything's always perfect. Well, I don't hear anything. Everything just as if they are perfect. Everything will just go. I just enter my room, I just sleep, wake up. As I will see them talking. They don't. Whether they eat or they don't eat, I don't know. Whether they just everything just goes auto cruise. But when your father comes, that's when they say, what did daddy eat? When their mother comes, they don't ask me, they just cook. They just do everything like that. So I just say, it's not only 70, 80 years, but just continue to do your own. When you begin, that's why there are some things you just have to have peace. I want men, for instance, don't carry your wife's handset. I want to read. Every time you carry your handset, you want blind? What are you looking for? If you have security, just forget the handset. Checking handset is a woman's job. They are FBI, that's their gift of the spirit, reading handsets. If a woman has not read your text message, she will not sleep. Even when you are sleeping at night, she will not be reading text message. If you like, the password is only 4 letters they will crack it. It is a God-given grace. Anything you don't want to put in your answer, just delete. Because like you said, they will get it. When you think they're sleeping and they just watch you sleep, when they just like, you say, thank God. Bring the answer there. 1959, yeah. Junior's birthday, 2015, yeah. His father, 6th of August, 1915. 0608, yeah. This man wicked, eh? Our address. This address and our former address, 21 and 82, yeah. Father, give me wisdom in Jesus' name. The Bible says, you know, there's word of knowledge, word of wisdom, Father, Holy Ghost fire. Also getting what is inside. All the men inside, I think your wives are not ready your phone. You are lying. They are read it. After they will put it back in the normal place again and do sign of the cross on top of your phone and say, you two will wake up and say, this woman can't read my password is double password protected. The woman told me how she has the password for her husband's briefcase. That the man doesn't give her money, but she knows how much is in that thing. That just, when they sleep, they just open it and say, look, yeah, man, look, money. I said, you are stealing. He said, he's not stealing. The Bible says, everything is for two of us. Number 4, sex problems. Sex is an important part of marriage and the source of many marriage problems. Every marriage requires the act of consummation by sexual intercourse. Failure to consummate a marriage or problems with sexual frequency, quality, and infidelity are common reasons for marriage failure and divorce. True. 80% of women that are married don't enjoy sex. They don't really enjoy sex. In fact, research has shown that most women have orgasm once every 10 sexual intercourse. And their husbands are not concerned. Most men sleep with their wives for their own personal satisfaction. Only 1 out of 10 men sleep with their wives with the intention of making their wives enjoy the sex. They don't, true, eh? All right. A man has said true. They don't even ask the woman, they don't even have time to ask the woman, the thing sweet. One. Do you enjoy this thing? No. The sex is for them. They just stand up, that's when they start asking you, what was the score? Who won between Manchester United and Arsenal? Match that was played 6 hours ago. Now you don't play that. You don't have Manchester United and Arsenal. Now you want to know who won. They don't finish in work. You know? How many men will sleep with their wives, have sex with their wives, and still hold their wives? No. Others will go and take their bath and then carry a newspaper of 1875 and start reading what they cannot understand. You know? Because, true. Most men, after the age of 40, are already having degenerative sexual relationship because of erectile dysfunction, hormonal imbalance, and things like that. And again, many drugs that we take also counter sexual vibrancy. Most of the antihypertensives, anti-diabetic drugs counter all these things. But the men will just making noise, I can do 4 rounds, I can do 4. It's a big lie. It's a big lie. The average man can only have sex once in a night. If you want to try, say, go do 2. That 2 will take like 1 week to recover. So that's if you really satisfy his wife. Any man that satisfies his wife will not come near you tomorrow. He will go and recover and use a bookie, rub his waist to come around. All this story that you see, all those things you see about pornography, they are not normal human beings. They are called sex athletes. All those pornographic things you see people, they rub pomade on their bodies, they are sex athletes. They practice, they do it, it's their way of life. And they're on drugs and every kind of enhancing drugs to be able to do it. So if you say you want to try it with your wife, you don't find out that they will admit you very soon.